Thanks for that introduction, and thanks to everyone for listening in today. As you can see from the title of the session, the topic of today's webinar is compensation-focused compliance. Are you ready for shifts in Stark law enforcement? And as many of you listening in, and I'm assuming this is why you're listening in, many of you know that compliance issues related to physician compensation have been a key area of discussion in healthcare for a number of years, and I think this area continues to grow in importance as the demand for healthcare reform and value-based payment really accelerate the need for healthcare organizations to have an aligned physician workforce. And because of that, adoption of a compliant and innovative physician compensation plan that incentivizes the quality of care and cost effectiveness and all of the new buzzwords we're talking about today, while still encouraging optimal physician productivity, is really a necessity for all healthcare organizations and organizations across the country. And so I'm assuming you're tuning in because of your desire to get the compensation plans right, but also to get some information on the enforcement activity going on and some shifts in Stark law enforcement, and that's what we're going to be touching on today. My goal in today's session, in the hour or so we have to talk through the shifts in Stark law enforcement, is to give you my perspectives on Stark law enforcement, my thoughts on compensation plans generally, and hopefully not only to give you those perspectives, but also some practical takeaways so you can go back to your healthcare organization or your physician practice and really understand, where we are. So I'm going to move on now to slide number 2, which contains my bio. This was briefly introduced at the beginning of the session. My name is Joe Wolf. I'm an attorney with Hall Render. We are the largest healthcare-focused law firm in the country. We operate nationwide, represent healthcare organizations in all 50 states, and really are a one-stop shop for all legal issues related to healthcare. Within our ranks, within our attorney base, we really have specialists in all areas of health law, from reimbursement to transactional work to antitrust work. And the like. So, after today's session, if you ever run into a health law issue, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk through it with you, to bounce ideas. You can bounce ideas off of me, or I can help link you up with another attorney in my firm who may be a specialist if it's outside of my area. My specific practice is focused solely on physician compensation, Stark law compliance, physician hospital transactions, and healthcare valuation issues. So that's really all my entire practice is focused on, designing compensation structures and physician-hospital relationships, implementing them, and also stepping in when arrangements have been entered into already and perhaps maybe have some issues, and the organization is trying to determine what to do, whether it's step through self-disclosure or take some other approaches in order to manage risk. So again, today's topic is near and dear to me. It really dovetails with my practice in the Stark law space. Now I'm going to move on to the third slide, which is the agenda for today's webinar. What I'm planning to tackle is shown here on the slide. I'm going to start off with some introductory concepts using real-world examples, and that's really going to set the stage and tell the story of shifting Stark law enforcement. After that, I'm going to take a deeper dive into the applicable regulatory standards because they're very relevant, so you can understand how Stark enforcement works. And in that third part, I'm going to take focus specifically on, again, those shifts in Stark law enforcement. At the end, we'll finish things off with a question and answer. So let's move on to slide number 4, introducing those introductory concepts using real-world examples, and then on to slide number 5 that relates to the healthcare reform and innovation, our healthcare reform. And I think, when we talk about the shifting dynamic of enforcement, it's good to preview that with all the shifts we're seeing going on in healthcare generally. We see a transition from volume to value. We're seeing new programs focused on value. We're seeing new innovative delivery models, discussion of healthcare exchanges, and everybody's wondering right now what their fate may. This new quality payment program that's made up of MACRA, MIPS, and advanced alternative